not be overzealous. When we get to whatever point we feel we have arrived, we should remember our roots and don't let guards down, to ensure that your change you are bringing is a sustainable one. So there is no point of arrival in the journey of success. It's just a matter of how much more can I do for my community? How much more can I do? What more can I do? What more can I do? And that way we go back to continuous learning and we keep building every time. Thank you so much for the amazing comments in the session, in the comment section. Great, Zita. You're really putting in so much. Kenneth, your network is your network. Your network. This is amazing. I must say, these comments are already lectures on their own. Okay, so thank you so much, SIPASI. Before we go straight into the question and answer session, please, can we all put our questions in the comment section? I think we have one question here already. Quickly, from Bukola Ayola. Very commendable work out there, SIPASI. Would appreciate if you talk on some of the challenges you had growing your organization and how you were able to overcome that. Just a few minutes. I hope you can help us address that, please.
Yeah. I mean, so the number one challenge I went through was not finance, but people. Like, it was really difficult, starting an organization where you don't have enough to pay people, and is a community development organization where you are not earning. So when I experienced a lot of people coming into the organization, after knowing the nitty-gritty of the organization, they just leave to start their own thing, and sometimes they become a competitor, stuff like that. So that was the highest negative things that happened to me. However, I was able to maximize the opportunity as well, along the line, by trying as much as possible to know the interest of people before they join the organization, because I was just looking for people randomly. But you need to really know those, their motivation to join the organization. Yeah.
Great.
I hope that helps. Yeah.
Yes, I hope that answered your question, Bukola. Thank you so much. So we have in our midst a special guest. I must say I'm really honored to have the person of Mr. Francis Njogwani join us today. He's the Director of Youth and Sports of the ECOWAS, which is the regional body of West Africa, just as we have for East Africa and Southern Africa. So ECOWAS is our regional body, and we have the person of Mr. Francis Chuks Njogwani join us from ECOWAS. I must say that I'm really excited and honored to have you in our midst, Sam. So in few minutes, he will be wrapping up this session with us as one who can give the best advice in this place to each and every one of us here as young African youth that are desirous of changing the status quo and designing the Africa we want. Okay, so let's see if we have one or two more questions. Okay, from Anu? Okay, we have another question from Anu. She says, what would you advise someone being in a leadership role at growing non-profits? Sorry, let me take that again. What would you advise someone being in a leadership role at growing non-profits become more clear with their voice? I don't know if that is clear enough.
So, yeah, I get the question.
Great.
Yeah, so Anu, thank you so much for your question, a very good question. So the truth is, there is something about non-profit organization. You have to grow it. Unfortunately, there are a lot of non-profit organizations in Africa, because this was a sector I played in, while I was back home. And even here, I'm involved with so many non-profits, locally and international non-profit. So even one in Burkina Faso. West Africa. The truth is, one thing I've realized is if you are starting up a nonprofit, know that it's a new organization. Then how much knowledge do you have about nonprofit before going into the into nonprofit organizations? So it sounds interesting when I mentioned that, oh, we got 10,000 US dollars from the US consulate, we got 10,000 from the US German consulate and stuff like that. Those money looks big, especially when you multiply it by 400 to Nigerian naira. You feel that, oh, this guy has blown, the way we say it back home. But the truth is, it's really more than that. When you divide the money across one physical year, you discover that you have nothing. So it is really difficult for nonprofit to survive, if you don't have basic knowledge of running a nonprofit. So for you to get that done, make sure you grow yourself. I mean, the examples I used to give is, if you have a very good nonprofit that is running, try as much as possible to start with the pollination project. From pollination project, they will give you a grant of $500. After $500, you go to $1,000. Then after that, you apply for World Connect. World Connectors can give you up to 5,000 US dollars. Then you grow like that. But a lot of people, when they start their nonprofit, they just want to jump that same day. They're applying for 20,000 US dollars. You don't have a track record. So what you are going to do as someone that is trying to build a nonprofit or trying to work in a nonprofit is to try as much as possible to build a track record for yourself. There are some grants I can never apply for today because they are too small. There are some that are way too big I can never apply for right now because I've not gotten there. So I'm in process. So every organization should be in process, and that growth process is very important. So for you to allow your voice to be heard, make sure that you have your track record. Track record is by doing the work on ground. Then you definitely get to where you're going. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just a quick request from all participants here. We are actually, it's already 8 o'clock from here in Nigeria. So we are come to the end of the meeting time. But if I may request, can we all put a yes in the chat section if you would like to go on with our questions? Because we still have about 3 more questions here. And I think they're very important. So please, if you want us to continue, please just put a yes. If we get like half of the participants here say a yes, and I would, okay, great, amazing, great. Okay, so that means it doesn't matter if we continue. So thank you so much. Okay, then now the next question, SIPASI, we have here is from Daniel. I think Daniel O. Yes, it says, SIPASI, can you give some advice or exposition in bringing out the best in agricultural sector of our country? A lot of agricultural students and a lot of farmers are here on the call because of your good profile.
So the first thing I would say, as a youth, if you've not started agriculture as a business, here's my advice. And I'm giving you this advice because of my wealth of experience in the space. I studied agriculture first degree, second degree, and my third degree, I'm still in the space of agriculture. Please, as an African youth, never borrow money to start an agribusiness. I say that again. Never borrow money to start an agribusiness. It can kill you and also kill your future to come. Now, reason being that, imagine if you get a 10 million naira loan today. Naira is the legal tender we use in Nigeria. You get a 10 million naira loan today, and you've not practiced agriculture or you've not learned agriculture. Sincerely speaking, you won't see the money in the next 6 months. After my first degree, I started a poultry business, and I was the best student when it comes to practical in my school, Federal University of Technology, Akure. I did my project so well, lecturers were impressed. I got very good recommendations and certificates and stuff like that. Then I was like, oh, SIPASI, you are very good. Then I started a poultry business. I lost over 60% of my production. Over 60%. Imagine if I had borrowed that money. So one thing about agriculture, for you to be successful, is beyond what you learn in the walls of the university. I know that we're going to have researchers as part of those who have joined us today. Our researchers are doing so well, but I feel that in Africa, they are not connecting it to the society directly. We have so many agricultural researchers that are excellent, but they are far detached from the reality on the farm. An example is Gomboro vaccine. You have a vaccination period that we're given in school, but the reality is the vaccination period does not really work the way they gave us in school on the field. So you need to have the understanding of that. So there's a place of learning. You have to go learn the practicals of agriculture. Like, it is very important. Then if you want to do agribusiness, that is another ball game entirely, which I think it's very easy, but it's technical. For example, if you want to go into plantain business, you go to the rural communities, a farming community, you get a truckload of plantain and you decide to bring it to Lagos. Because a lot of people have told you that, oh, there's money in plantain, oh, and stuff like that. Then you brought your plantain to Lagos. The truth is, when you get to a place like My 12 Market, they have a society of plantain sellers. They will decide that, okay, your plantain will be there in the truck. They will not allow that truck to leave the market. They will make sure they sell their own. After selling, people will be asking for plantain. They will tell them that this particular one, you cannot buy it. And they will leave it there for 1 week. There's nothing you can do. That is the system. So you need to understand the system and you need to play along with the system. So then that is the place of technology, to boycott so many things, so many things like that. But I won't advise boycotting, but how can you integrate with these people? There's power in coming together. When you integrate with them, then you can provide a solution that's going to make their work easier and make you easier. So for me, I tell people, oh, you want to go into agriculture? You don't have to go into primary agriculture. For example, Nigeria is one of the largest producers of tomato, and we are still the largest importer of tomato paste. It is crazy. Why? Because over almost half of our tomatoes being produced got rotted, before they get to the marketplace and stuff like that. So sorry, Francis, this is my
This is
area of
really
passion.
agricultural. I think
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
have another chat room
Okay,
for
okay.
agricultural people in the
Okay,
room.
okay. Can I just wrap
Our
up this
farmers.
very quickly?
Okay, yes, please do.
Yeah. So for example, that is a problem in the tomato production line. So now you notice that over half of the tomato gets rotten before they get to the market. So why don't we provide or think about innovate around providing on-site processing machines, very small implements, locally fabricated implements. You put it on site, then the farmers will process probably halfway before they get to the market. We are going to save a lot and make a lot of money. So I think we should be able to innovate around that. So that's my advice. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So our farmers in the house, I hope you learned one or two. We have two questions that are quite alike from Mafus and from Kenem, sorry. They're asking for your professional support on a farm. That's for Mafus. A professional support on a farm that he's starting soon, and for Kenem, can we contact you on a personal basis for some advice? I know she's a farmer as well. So basically, they want to know if they can get your contact.
Okay, I think it's better you write me an email.
Okay.
So that's my email. So when you write me on this email, then you're definitely going to get a response. But I can give you my WhatsApp line, but the truth is I would never, I don't know.
I can understand. So I think the email
So
works fine.
yeah, the email works fine, and that's my WhatsApp line.
Great. So I believe we can see SIPASI has put to everyone his email and his WhatsApp line. So if you're lucky enough to see that chat, please save it or write it somewhere to the farmers that are willing to reach out. So I think we still have a few questions.